basically parents of kids who are born here, from Mexico mostly. So basically the kids are citizens because they would call them anchor babies, but that's in the Constitution. So what Obama did with his executive order, that I know the Republicans hate, was said that if the kids are born here, the parents can stay. Well, this would actually legalize about half of the 11 million undocumented.
It doesn't legalize them. It
allows them to stay.
It allows them to stay with deferral.
There's a video that was going around the internet. I'm not going to claim that we found it, but I thought for people who haven't seen it, it might be very interesting to watch. It's from the 1980 presidential debates when George Bush the first was running against Ronald Reagan. Take a look at a little bit of it.
Look, I'd like to see something done about the illegal alien problem that would be so sensitive and so understanding about labor needs and human needs. We're creating a whole society of really honorable, decent, family-loving people.
And I think that we haven't been sensitive enough to our size and our power. Rather than making them, or talking about putting up a fence, why don't we work out some recognition of our mutual problems, make it possible for them to come here legally with a work permit, and then while they're working and earning here, they pay taxes here. And when they want to go back, they can go back, and they can cross and open the border both ways.
Let me just tell you what you're, in case you think you just landed from Mars. This is the Republican Party. Bush says, let's be more sensitive and understanding. He says they're honorable, decent, family-loving people. Reagan says we haven't been sensitive enough about our size and power, and rather than build a fence, open the border both ways. What happened?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. The immigration problem. It reflects a lot of there's a sense that there's been a job displacement in a lot of lower middle class and middle class American families. True. It's not necessarily the case that it's caused by that, but they believe it's caused by that. They feel it's been ascribed.
Oh, some of it has been caused.
Some of it has.
I mean, like in the construction industry, absolutely.
And in some of it, folks don't understand the fact that in California and Florida and other places that migrant workers are an essential part of the agricultural economy in this country. The folks that think we can build the 5,000-foot wall and that we're going to deport 11 million people mostly listen to Donald Trump, and they believe that he's speaking the literal truth. There are people on my side of the fence that understand we have to address this problem. There are legitimate border security concerns and legitimate concerns about criminal activity, but there are also things that are problems we can't just sweep under the rug. We can't pretend they're not real. We have to address them at some point, but it's got to be a situation right now politically in this country where unless we talk about the security questions first, we're not going to get a political consensus in this country without something like that first. And I can tell you, I've worked enough around the U.S. Senate.
We need to
ruling on this. And California, my beloved adopted state here, we have 25% of the country's legal immigrant population and also 25% of the undocumented population. It's 34% of the farm workers here, 21% of its construction workers, contributes $130 billion to the economy. All right, civic, education, business, religious leaders sent a friend of the court brief about this case that's coming up and basically said, don't do anything stupid. We need them. We want them. They're contributing, and we have bigger problems. Because if
surveys, we look at most important problem panels all the time, and I will tell you, immigration, unless you're a talk radio host or you work for Trump Bart or you're Donald Trump, immigration never falls in the top 5 in almost any of these panels. This has become a politically weaponized issue for a faction of the right on my side of the equation, and I honestly believe that a lot of the people that are angry about it, they're angry about it because they don't understand it, and they're whipped up on it by folks that have weaponized. Wait a second, Bill. Just 1 second.
Oh,
these are people
taking a page from Barney there, huh?
These are people on the right who've learned that this brings a lot of eyeballs, a lot of clicks, a lot of listeners on talk radio, And they don't care about the long-term political damage to the Republican brand or the party.
Let me add one thing. Say, I want my country back. I always think, what was going on here in the 50s? I mean, pregnant women could smoke, but what else was it? I can never put my finger on what they are. So, all right. Well, thank you, panel. I have to go to New Rules, but I'm out lately trying to explain the Trump phenomenon. He's a con man. He's a Klansman. He's a clown, old throwing a tantrum. He is the grown-up version of every pain-in-the-ass kid who ever sat behind you on a plane kicking the back of your seat while the parents did nothing. Little Logan is just exploring. You know, little Logan is being a dick, and if you won't shove him in the overhead bin, I will. Every time a parent takes the kid's side over the teacher's, or asks a child where they want to go to dinner, or doesn't say, be quiet when adults are talking, you are creating the Donald Trumps of tomorrow. These are the parents who put notes in their kids' lunchbox that say, I love you, when there's already something in the lunchbox that lets kids know you love them. Food. Children, that there is nothing better than falling madly head over heels, leaving notes on your own windshield, in love with yourself. And also that anyone who doesn't agree that you are fabulous and perfect in every way is just a hater and they can suck it. Sound like anyone we know? Have you noticed that nobody ever does anything better than Donald Trump?
I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me. I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created.
Nobody knows the system better than me.
Nobody would be tougher on ISIS than Donald Trump.
Nobody loves the Bible more than I do.
There's nobody bigger or better at the military than I am.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
Jesus. He's the white Kanye West. I just want a reporter one time to ask him about humility so I can hear him say, there is nobody better at being humble than me. Nobody loves the Bible more? Nice try, Pope Francis, but unfortunately for you, you're in the same world with Donald Trump. Unfortunately for all of us, but kind of predictable. Trump is the perfect candidate for the country that scores low in math and science, but off the charts in self-esteem. Yeah, a study of 8 developed countries found that U.S. students were dead last in math skills, but number 1 in confidence in math skills, even though they suck at it. Yes, we're number 1 in thinking we're number 1. And when the numbers don't validate that confidence, well, we know who the real culprit is, those stupid numbers. So we changed them. In the 1960s at Yale, 10% of all grades were A's. Now it's 62%. This is called trophy syndrome, where no one ever loses and everyone gets a prize. You can run the wrong way on the field and score 5 goals for the other team, and you're still a winner, even though you're actually a big fucking loser. And this isn't just kids. NBA players give each other high fives when they miss a foul shot. Oprah gets a big round of applause for losing weight, and another one for having the courage to put it back on. We tell our children they don't have to fix their flaws because it's the world's job to accept everything about them and love it. Like they say on reality shows, the most important thing is just you doing you. But what if you is a big asshole? You can vote for Donald Trump if you want, but never think that for him it's about the country. He doesn't even really want to be president. He just wants to be called president because he is the logical result of 40 years of worshiping at the altar of self-esteem, where everything is about you and every kid gets a trophy wife. All right, that's our show.